Salam sejahtera. Nama saya Mariam Mokhtar. Kalau nak tengok kampung, biar mahir dalam bahasa Malaysia saja. Kalau nak tengok dunia, biar kemahiran dalam bahasa Inggeris. Orang Melayu masih tak sedar yang jika mereka tidak faham dan fasih dalam bahasa Inggeris, iaitu bahasa antarabangsa yang diguna dalam sains, teknologi, industri, diplomasi, commerce dan bisnes, mereka akan tertinggal di belakang. Pengetahuan anda yang unggul dalam bahasa Malaysia tidak akan memberi sebarang kesan di kalangan komuniti antarabangsa. Tetapi anda menunjukkan keunggulan anda dengan membuktikan kepada orang barat anda sama atau lebih baik daripada dia dalam bahasanya sendiri. Tetapi sekarang, apa yang ingin kita ketahui ialah sama ada pendidikan anak-anak kita ni akan membolehkan mereka membesar dan penuh yakin menggunakan bahasa Inggeris di arena antarabangsa. Bukan hanya di bidang akademik tetapi juga dalam industri, seni, perdagangan, sukan dan diplomasi. Pengetahuan bahasa Inggeris akan memberi anak anda peluang mendapat kerja yang lumayan di dalam dan juga di luar negeri. Anak anda senang dapat peluang dalam beberapa bidang dari akademia ke engineering, kejuruteraan aeronautical, dari maritim ke meteorologi. The ketuanan Melayu ataupun Malay supremacist syndrome has a paralytic effect on the brain. On Facebook, Foreign Affairs Minister Saifuddin Abdullah looked extremely pleased with himself for elevating the national language to the international arena in accordance with Prime Minister Ismail Sabri's wishes. He beamed with pride as he posed with an official letter in Malay to the United States Secretary of State, Antony Blinken. Are we supposed to break out in applause? However, one confusion must first be resolved. Is it Bahasa Melayu or Bahasa Malaysia that Ismail Sabri wants to promote? In some newspapers, he was quoted as promoting Bahasa Melayu. In others, it was Bahasa Malaysia. So which is it? Yang mana satu? Bahasa Malaysia will identify with all Malaysians, whereas the use of Bahasa Melayu will exclude the non-Malays and will not promote unity and a Malaysian identity. So did Ismail Sabri discuss the decision to empower the national language with members of the Foreign Service? And did they tell him the pitfalls? Or were members of the diplomatic service more anxious about protecting their periuk nasi, their livelihoods? Many of my friends and relatives in the foreign and diplomatic service disagree with Ismail Sabri's decision. They asked about funding. Translators are expensive to train, and training takes time, a long time. Money is also needed to translate manuals and documents, and the shortage of translators forced certain departments to use foreign translators or even Google Translate, which is not very professional. One translator who translated French documents for the Defense Ministry ended up being blown to bits. I think you know who I mean. She was Mongolian. If Wisma Putra is seriously underfunded, will Ismail Sabri claw back some of the billions of ringgit allocated for the Department of Islamic Development Malaysia, JAKIM, and divert them to the Foreign Service? Malaysians living and working overseas wade through mountains of Manglish when they access the websites of the Malaysian High Commissions or embassies. Will a professional translator work on these government websites? There is a Malaysian proverb that says, You can take the Malay out of the Kampung, but you cannot take the Kampung out of the Malay. And there is also an ancient Chinese proverb that says, to learn a language is to have one more window from which to look at the world. In modern-day Malaysia, many insecure race supremacist types would rather cart their tempurung meaning coconut shell, with them, including when they travel overseas. That is why last month's decision by Prime Minister Ismail Sabri, whereby government representatives must use Bahasa Malaysia in international meetings, is a regressive step. Did he and his cabinet think about the consequences of this decision? No one is suggesting Bahasa Malaysia be downplayed, but we are living in a world where if you fail to catch up with the rest, you will be left behind. So what are Ismail Sabri's plans for Malaysians to master the English language? In all his decades as a politician, was empowering the national language perhaps the most important decision he has had to make in his political career. This political move will prove to be costly. Why sacrifice our children's future just to satisfy his ego? Ismail Sabri may boast that the past Environment Minister, Tuan Ibrahim Tuan Man, successfully delivered his speech in Malay during the 26th Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, or rather COP26, in Glasgow, Scotland last year. Tuan Ibrahim's trip was the waste of time and money. Only 6 official languages were recognized for translation at this conference. And did anyone understand what Tuan Ibrahim was saying? Bahasa Malaysia was not on the list. Tuan Ibrahim's visit was probably a last-minute decision. He had an important PAS assembly meeting to attend, and days before the Glasgow conference officially opened, Malaysians criticised him for not representing Malaysia. Although a senior Malaysian scientist had been sent to represent Malaysia, Tuan Ibrahim could not resist travelling to Glasgow after all. Many people praised him for delivering his speech in Malay. Words such as brave and courageous and flying the flag for Malaysia were used. But the pathetic thing was that none of the nationalists had analysed the contents of his speech about halting climate change. The focus should have been on the environment and not on whether he spoke in Bahasa Malaysia or English. The irony about Tuan Ibrahim's trip was that he flew, 10,000, 15,000 kilometers to Glasgow just to deliver his 5-minute speech in Malay. Why did he ignore his carbon footprint? Or does he actually think that delivering his speech via video link has a much worse impact on the climate? To make matters worse, he presumably had a sizable entourage to accompany him to Scotland. Has Malaysia got so much money to burn? This emphasis on all things Malay is getting out of hand. If Ismail Sabri wants to make a difference and create a bigger impact on the world stage, he and his cabinet should be looking to overhaul the whole education system. Perbezaan dan kesan yang lebih besar ke atas pentas dunia hanya akan berlaku jika Ismail Sabri dan kabinetnya membaik pulih keseluruhan sistem pendidikan. Our children deserve better. Nationalist sentiments should not override global aspirations. Terima kasih kerana sudi menonton. Jumpa lagi. Kalau anda suka video saya, sila tekan like dan subscribe pada channel YouTube saya. Pertimbangkan menyertai laman Patreon saya. Terima kasih.